Hi Claire, I know that you said you like the notes, but I prefer to use this video for a specific reason. Um, when I give feedback from the SAYS, I'm forced to give limited written feedback as notes on paper, because that will be um, it will be proof that I'm writing this for you. Whereas the video has a format of advice, and whatever you can write, it's your choice. So, because I know that you're a very clever girl, and I know you have done a lot of work here, and I would like to make this work to be at a higher level, I'm going to show you very quickly what I'm going to refer to. First things first, I want you to show you this document I have given you, and all the details we're using there, proposal and the rest. Proposal, how to make the graphs, all the information I have here, and you can always click on the bubble and see the comments, and especially how you're going to start writing stuff. Referencing and doing this kind of details can be used very wisely and help you and teach you how to write your best. I know your English language is exceptional. What I'm trying to make with this is to alert you that all the comments I'm going to make are prevailing, have to be included in an A investigation. Okay, so if you can use information from here, please be my guest. Uh, what I want you to understand is that there is no need to um, try to change this wording, okay? Because this is the most important thing, and when we present the data, you have to start with a statement with what it is. So if there is a difference, if you can have conclusions, no conclusions, you have to summarize them, restate the main findings with numbers, refer to the actual data. Example, the white noise has a mean score of this compared to the other. And really we have to make within the sample and across the sample comparisons. And when we evaluate, you mention this, and I'm going to mention it more. Now I have this evidence here. I want you to remember, sorry, I need to put it on the side, that I have given you a version, a quicker version of this, which is this. And they're exactly the same. If you go to proposal and you go here, it's the same. I'm scrolling down because there's no point to say anything more. Just remember when we're discussing uh, write the introduction and then present the results. Uh, Remember we discussed exactly this. I'm going to open it so we can read it. Here in the quantitative data says start with a statement of how a question answered. Start with a statement of how the question was answered. Exactly the same. What I did here, I make it small and more flexible to work. Then interpret the results. then interpret the results. You see here? Interpret the means, explain the results. So I give you more information there. So I'm getting rid of this because whatever I want here, it is in here. For example, to one, the evaluation size, evaluating of the sample size. You see? Exactly the same. Discuss the sample size, discuss the sample size. So this is in 7 pages where this was like 8. It's not much difference, but it's easier for me because I can write on the Word document. Okay, so I'm closing this. Now, let's discuss with your work in comparison to this. I refer to this because, as you know, and you have the guide, it's written by those who are in the SAYS, set the exams, okay, and mark, and organize the marking schemes. So don't worry. Use it the best way you can. I need to put this one there and this one here. Oh, sorry. So your work, let me organize it so I can have some space more on this and I can be able to write stuff. Great. First things first, here, I want you to have it this on the other side and have your SAYS number here. You can have your name. When I'm going to send this, it is for moderation purposes. So that means they will see it and they will know that all the sample of the work belongs to this A plus Claire Moray. Okay, so there is no point to miss your name from here. I have name, SAYS number. Okay, proposal, birth order, comparison of the first and last born child. So, what is the research topic about? In the proposal, you have to outline the issue. Where is my outline of the issue? Okay, so when you Control C, this is your missing component. Okay, so this is your missing component. You can watch the video, you can always come back there. Now, and what is your research question? Okay, so you have to tell me your research question here. Which is your hypothesis? No. Research question, hypothesis, something else, but you can really formulate that. Okay, make sure that you make it clear that my research topic is investigating the assertiveness, but my hypothesis is investigating the firstborn children in comparison to the last born child. And I want you to remember here that says that you have to include the IV and DV, if any. Let's see the experimental design. Ta-da! You see that? You say to me already, experimental design was applied in order to investigate the research question. Participants were randomly allocated, great, into groups, control group and experiment group, great. The experiment group viewed a short video presentation about what assertiveness is. The control group was not exposed to the video. Assertiveness levels were then tested by giving both groups a questionnaire. No, questionnaires. What kind of questionnaires? Cognitive and behavior questionnaires. What else? A behavior questionnaires in Likert scale format. Okay, you have to understand now that um, the cognitive and behavior questionnaires were in Likert scale format. I didn't give you and a Likert scale questionnaire. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Great. Now, so I want you to understand that this Likert is what? Self-report. You can write that if you want to, or may not. And also, what else the method included? Because the people at SAYS, they know the method included. They wrote the experiment. They wrote the method. So what else is included there? So we gave you another questionnaire that included what? Demographics? Yes. We'll use the work with personal details, graphics, questionnaire. And what else was in there? It was likes, other questions that could be requested. Um, Likes and dislikes, the sport, the music, yeah. And in there, in this questionnaire, it was the birth order and the number of the siblings in the family. Okay, so the cognitive and behavior questionnaire by itself was not useful unless you had this component. The other questionnaire, remember, where we filled stuff, and in that other questionnaire we could identify the age, the number of children, the position of the family, if you're first, last, whatever. Okay, like dislikes and um, birth order, number of siblings, gender, etc. Okay, I want to remind you that now you say that experimental design was used. Here you have to refer to the IV and TV in your hypothesis. Firstborn children will present higher levels of assertiveness than last-born children. I'm sorry, something happened with the recording. How are you going to include the IV and DV? So what is your independent variable? I want you to think that and come and ask me. I'm not going to give it out now. What is the independent variable? And what's the dependent variable? Okay, what have you manipulated? That's the independent variable. Okay, and what changed? So I want you to remember that in your discussion here, Okay, you refer to this and you're making comparison to those who have seen and not seen the video. Okay, and what you really understand here is that your independent variable, that damn movie, hasn't done anything. Okay, because it's not more than 0.5 the difference. This is inconclusive. Your data are inconclusive. What happens here? 34 and 36. Can you make any um, reference to the role of the movie? Uh-huh. So cognitively, the firstborn knows what assertiveness is. There was no difference between the group that had manipulated and not had manipulated the variable. But the impact of the variable, yes, it is bigger in those people of your sample who are firstborns with regards to their behavior. I want you to mention that in your findings. And the consistency applies here too. You see how similar your data are? You see the proportions from here to there, from here to there. And again from here to there. I'm going to use it later, but let's go back here. Now I think I gave you a clue for the independent variable. Okay, the hypothesis has to be included, the independent variables and the dependent variables. Okay, let's continue. So now you have to explain to me what kind of responses, what type of data. You can write here type of responses to be collected or type of data. Okay, or you can write here assessment method, data collection. Okay, you can write something like, I'm not changing it. You can also have the option to write data collection method and assessment in interpretation, data collection and interpretation method, and interpretation method in the uni. That's what they use. Okay, and they don't use it only in psychology, they use it in humanities all the time. This is the way they write it. The datum is one, data is plural, so the data were collected from a sample of 32 senior male senior senior high male and female students enrolled in not enrolled in psychology class and attending. There is no point here because they know the sample of work. These participants were aged between 16 and 18 years old and asked demographical and preferential questions. Both a multiple choice question and a Likert scale were used. This is this is telling me that You don't understand the difference between data collection and data design. Um, Ask demographical preferential questions. These participants we mm, I would change it something like their participants um, a- age between 16 and 18 years old. Try to save words, yes, uh, where asked demographical and preferential questions. Uh, they didn't ask questions. I didn't ask you questions. That implies that I interview you. Okay. Um, we asked to respond to questionnaires. Um, Again, to behavior and cognitive questionnaires. Um, and other one with demographical and preferential questions. I want you to change that. I don't like it. I want you to change this, and I'm not going to change it. And your English are much better than mine. I want you to change it in a way that you're going to tell me, number one, uh, cognitive and behavior questionnaires were expressed in a Likert scale, and because they were in Likert scale, they had the format, they were prepared, they had the form of multiple choice question. But the people who don't know what Likert scale is, in front of them they could see multiple choice questions that have the form of self-report, and for assessment purposes later you as assessor you knew that this had also the format of a Likert scale from that to that. Because they were given marks from 1 to 10. I want you to change that Likert scale thing completely. Don't put Likert scale because Likert scale is from 1 to 10 how much you like. Try and put, it was self-report. Okay, questionnaires, self-report. To collect subjective quantitative data. The multiple choice questionnaire presented a scenario and assessed the participants' level of assertiveness based on their response given. Um, each of the multiple choice questions, yes, each of the multiple choice questions presented a scenario and assessed the participants' level of assertiveness based on response given. Uh, Likert scale was used by the um, researcher to um, measure, to write down, to rate. Okay. as you say, the individual cognitive assertiveness, only cognitive and behavioral assertiveness. At the beginning of the questionnaire, participants were asked to identify again, comparison with their siblings. For the purpose of this investigation, the data from all the families with two or more children will be used. Great. Okay, we need to change it a little bit. You have changed a little bit, but that's great. Now, so because we mentioned here the data collection method, here we have to go. The experiment group viewed short video acceptance levels were then tested. Yes, questionnaires. We delete that. Yes, in multiple choice question format. In multiple choice question format. So I'm writing here. Another question was also distributed. Okay, now we have to go explain how you intend to use the data. I would like this to be repeated, or Control C and have it there. So for the purpose of this investigation, the data from all families with two or more children will be extracted and used. Extracted from the raw data and will be used. The mean scores from the cognitive the first and last born child will be presented in a table prior to analysis in a column graph. No, you don't need to present them in a table because I'll scroll down. I hope I can find it very quickly to show you that it says it's highly advised not to repeat data because you don't have enough words. You're not, how should I say, the table will mean raw data. You don't have space. Raw data is not required. Also says here, a table should not show the same information as a graph. Do not repeat a presentation of the results. Okay, so what I want you to write here is this. The mean scores from cognitive behavior data, the mean scores from the cognitive and behavior questionnaires, the mean scores, it's not data, it's responses. It is data, responses. The mean scores from the cognitive and behavioral responses of the first and last born child will be mean scores from the cognitive and behavior responses of the first and last born child in both control and experiment group will be calculated, okay, and will be compiled in a table to help creating that it was creating the column graph. A column graph. How many columns? Yeah, and an 8-column graph. Creating a column graph. There will be 8 mean total. I changed that because I saw the 8. There will be 8 mean scores, not totals. Scores extracted or calculated, okay, from the data. To construct this graph, these totals will be the average score of the behavior. It's okay. I'm deleting this because it's the same thing from the category. Already said that. Okay, so now we need to stop. If the hypothesis is supported, the graph will show a consistent theme of the firstborn demonstrating higher level of assertiveness than the lastborn child. In what questionnaires? Consistently in both questionnaires? Yes. In both questionnaires. Okay. So we have described the relationship on the tabular graph. Okay, we're going to describe it, and that's it. Now, I have changed that a lot. It's a good idea for you to say all these to the others. Okay, I'm going to give the answer to the same thing, the same information to the girls, the other 2 girls, because it's a common one. The other 3 girls because it's a common one. So I'm stopping the video now, this video, and I'm going to send to the others. Okay, Shannon and Bridget, because that's the common thing. And then I will continue on you.